a little bit of knee stuff going on. So I'm going to need to attend to those. So I'm going to go ahead and sit down. I've got myself even more padded today because I'm on concrete or cement. I don't know. I can never tell the difference between those two, even though Mark's told me 1,000 times what the difference is. But anyways, I want to be comfortable on my sits bones. And so Matt, we're starting in this Sukhasana. You do not need to come here. You can take your knees out less, okay? Open up the hips more, come into more of a diamond shape, which is Tadasana, okay? Or if that's even too much, you can just go ahead and lengthen your legs out, all right? And wherever you are, legs long, stab pose, Tadasana, or you're in Sukhasana, we want to have a straight spine. And that straight spine is going to allow that nice flow of air to come in and out, to fill our bellies. We don't have any constrictions here right now. Through our practice and some of the different things we do constrict a bit when we, for instance, take our chin to our chest, or when we take a roll over. So those are all things that have their place. But here at the beginning, we want to just sit up straight and tall and proud in that good pride way, right? And shoulders come away from your ears, and your hands may want to be up just so that you can feel receptive. But maybe you want to have a little closure. Maybe you want to place your hands down. So wherever they are, find what's comfortable. Find the balance on your sits bones. Find your sits bones placed evenly on the ground, and that's going to affect all the rest of your alignment all the way up. So sits bones grounded, and then we can take all the way through our center core, our torso, and straighten that out. It helps us to relax our shoulders. Then we check to see if our head's on straight. And so what does that mean? I'm not jutting out with my chin. I'm not pulling back too much. And if I took in a line from my earlobe to my trapezius, they would be in line, all right? And then just, again, hips open to the place that you want. When you're comfortable, set up and ready, you can close your eyes, again, if that invitation is something that feels right for you. And mostly, I ask that you begin to breathe in and out through your nose. But if you have stuffy noses with allergies and such, and you need to use your mouth, that's probably why we were given two options, so that we would not faint or pass out from lack of oxygen because we couldn't get enough through our nose. So take what you can with what you have. And begin to feel yourself empowering, enriching your body with your oxygen flow. Imagine as you inhale, something is above you, pulling at the crown and lengthening your spine. And it stays there even when you exhale, so that we're not collapsing on our exhales. We keep our length. You may hear some hummingbirds because we have our feeders right next to me. They're going to decide whether they trust me enough to come in and eat while I'm here for this next hour. And one of them left me a gift. I found a little feather today, almost swept it up when I was sweeping. Now it's joined all the big feathers that I have. All right, now let's take 2 cleansing breaths. This time it'll be in through our nose and out through our mouth. Let's go ahead, make some sound on your exhale. One more. And now let's take a collective Om or any sound that you would like to release from your mouth. Go ahead and inhale. Normal breath. And if you have your legs crossed like I have had, then let's go ahead and recross in the opposite way. If you're in Tadasana or you're sitting in staff pose, then you could just leave your legs as they are. And again, finding our sits bones, taking our hands to our knees. And now we're going to do some rolling of that spine. It's done a really good job for us to keep us nice and straight. So let's do some rolling, coming forward, letting my heart come towards you, my Zia sign come towards you, looking up. Maybe just taking the bridge of my nose up so that I don't put too much compression in a neck that's not ready for that. And then hold onto the knees in the opposite way. Let yourself roll back onto the back of your sits bones. Yeah. And pull and open up through those shoulder blades. Oh, I need that. And then rise up to that neutral spine. And then go ahead and bring yourself forward. On one inhale, take yourself back. On one exhale, although if it feels really good to hang out in a cat or a cow for several breaths, go ahead and do that, but just even it out on the other side, okay? This is slow motion here as we find the depth of our breath. If you hold on there with your legs as leverage points, you will really feel that opening in the back of the spine there. And so let's go ahead and take a hold here, lifting the bridge of our nose, lifting our gaze, letting our spine take a little arc there. Take a few breaths here, even though we're holding, feel like your heart is just moving closer and closer towards me, mine towards you. And now I'm going to go ahead and reverse and take myself and hold in this. Feel that opening. Feel that stretching, that releasing through where so many of us, myself included, hold onto our stress. Can you pull your shoulders down away from your ears as you're in this tucked position? Again, a little more constricted in the breath, but it has a purpose here. Come on back to your straight spine. And then those of you that have had the crossed legs, let's do everybody here before we change up that position. Take yourself to your heels, pull back, flex onto your toes, and let's go ahead and take our hips left and right. Matt, this would be a good thing for you to do, these windshield wipers, because you're not going to go too much. And you're just going to start to have more lubrication in that hip joint, okay? And you're getting internal and external rotation. So, and I just directed that to Matt because he mentioned his hips, but this is good for any and all of us, okay? All right, and then coming back to sits bones, those of you that were in Tadasana, come back to Tadasana. Those of you that were in Sukhasana, come into Tadasana. I don't know if you guys can see my feet. I've got most of the sole together. I've made this diamond shape or maybe like a star shape, and that's what Tara means in Sanskrit is star. So here we're going to come in and out of breath again, but this time we're going to maintain a straight spine, all right? I'm going to slide down almost to my toes here. Inhale. Bring myself back here, exhale. I'm going to change that. This feels better to exhale. But that's me. If that feels better to inhale, you do that. Straight spine. Letting your heart pull yourself forward. keeping yourself from coming in and out of that scooped spine. Using your hands to stop you when you come back and to maybe hold on and bring you a little deeper with a straight spine, okay? We're not rounding yet. He's got that? Looks like it. And do you have your breath moving with you? Let's do 2 more sets. And hang out here. Really lengthen that spine. So how do I know if I'm lengthening my spine? My tailbone feels like it's jutting back. And I'm gonna take my neck in alignment with my spine. So when I look at you, I'm out of alignment. And when I look at a diagonal down, I put my cervical spine in alignment with my vertebral spine. And I'm still working on that straight spine. Maybe I'm using my strength of my arms to lengthen out between the vertebrae as they come forward here. And I keep breathing. And I'm smelling the sweet smell of Russian olives. They must be in bloom now. Go ahead and release. Let your chin come to your chest. Let your shoulders fold in. Let your chest release and relax here. Keep breathing them. And then let's curl ourselves up instead of with a straight spine. So slowly unraveling. Chin is at your chest until you get to shoulders up and then chin lifts. Okay, good. All right, let's go ahead and switch out that leg position and let's come into Sherry's very favorite staff pose. So now we're gonna lengthen out the legs, okay? And I'm gonna flex into my feet, but you may not be ready for that. This might be just enough for the backside of your thighs, your hamstrings, and your calves. So if you don't feel like that's where you wanna go, please don't do it. I'm gonna sit up though straight and tall again, find that straight spine. Notice what we're doing with our spine. We're lengthening, we're rounding, we're opening, we're closing, we're coming back into lengthening again, all right? So try to find a variety of that in your day, all right? So now I'm gonna take one of my hands, I'm gonna cross it over to my opposite foot, all right? Maybe it doesn't go to my foot, it goes to my shin or to my knee. Find that cross your body. Hold on to wherever it is, push through the opposite foot. Start to take a twist, take your hand, your other hand to the base of your spine and look back. And we're still maintaining a straight spine here, okay? It's just in a forward bend. And it's twisting. And I'm slowly bringing myself back. I'm gonna release both hands. Take the other one, cross my body. Maybe I'm just here on the side of my knee, side of my shin, reach to my foot. Wherever that is for you, depends on our length of our arms and our flexibility. Feel that lengthening in that side. Push through the opposite foot because we're gonna start that twist. Take your hand behind you and go ahead and begin to look back and over that back shoulder. And with a long spine, go ahead and release back front. Sitting up, let's just go ahead and take our legs a little bit apart so the feet can go flippity floppity. Let's do our hands too. Let's just look really goofy here. Flippity floppy, do. Try to keep a straight spine. Let's take circles. Slow the other way. Good. And let's get into fists, flex your feet, and then fingers out, toes point, okay? Flex. There we go. Here's some feet work for you, Chris. All right, and hands We all can use some release of our hands, our fingers, our wrists, for all that we're doing. Computer work, gardening, anything like that. Let's do 2 more. There we go. All right, good. And now let's go ahead and start to open up our legs to wherever feels right for you, okay? And if you want, you know, a little bit more and say, well, I think I might be able to go farther. I like to take my hands behind my hips, just lift up a little bit, and that helps me to regroup. But find what's right for you, okay? I just want to always share these little things in case that's what you want to do. Let's take some circles. My hands on my knees just kind of help direct my action. And only come as low as your legs will let you and your spine will let you. Okay, I'm going to reverse. And maybe you have bent knees here, and that's okay. Maybe you want to bring your legs in a little bit closer to one another because you're feeling that there's a little bit too much stretching on the back. We don't want that. We don't want any pull muscles or anything like that. And then let's go ahead and sit up. Do anything with your feet you want because we're going to work on the upper body. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and lift up. Inhale. Exhale, cactus. Look up. Hold down. Inhale. Exhale, cactus. Squeeze shoulder blades. Here we go. Shoulders, Chris. Look up. And all of this is getting those stretches that you wanted, Rose. And exhale. 2 more. And then arms stay up. Again, your legs can be loosey-goosey. They don't have to be flexed or unless you want. One hand over, and the other one reaches to the side. Let's take it up on an inhale. Exhale, take it over. Good, reach up. And keep going. Find that in your side body. Really lengthen. When you come back to the center, take that moment to really inhale, lift and lengthen. Take your time coming over with your exhale. 2 more sets. How are you breathing? How are you breathing? How deeply are you breathing? Taking ourselves back to center. And exhale. Let's take our hands onto our shoulders and let's just do some releasing here. And again, my legs are just, you know, simply being, but I'm getting a hip opening by having my legs just out to that place that feels right for me. And I'm going to reverse, taking those big circles, getting into shoulders, elbows, chest. Good. And then release your left hand. Take it behind you, okay, behind your head. And that other elbow stays up, that left elbow stays up. And then come on over. So we can do this, and you can feel that right there. I prefer this, but some people like to take their other hand around, fingers palm out, trying to reach one hand and the other, right? I don't know if I've ever been able to do that. And I don't want anybody to ever force themselves to do that because we want to be gentle with our shoulders, right? But that would be called Gomukhasana when we try to hold on hand to hand. And that's just a different opening, right, for the shoulder. So I think this one for me is a better offering, but I wanted to show you that in case you'd like to go there. And then I'm going to release, arms up and exchange. Back to here. Or I experiment with palm out, fingers trying to reach one another. My middle fingers just touched for the first time in a while. And so maybe it's also just about practice. I've been working on that a little bit, but no real goal in mind. And releasing, arms up. Exhale, hands come down. Good. All right, let's go ahead and bring those legs in. And you're going to feel that, right, in the inside groin area and the inside of your legs. So let's do our happy hip openers back and forth with this little motion here. Windshield wiper, whatever you want to call them. All right, and then let's go ahead and come on to our hands and knees. And go ahead and tuck your toes, right? We're tucking our toes. And again, this is opening and working with the feet, right? And we're going to, if this is a lot on your wrist area, remember, press more into your fingers than you do right into the palm, or take your hands into fists, right? I'm just throwing these ideas out for you guys because I don't want anybody to have any wrist issues. All right, so I've got my toes tucked. I'm going to take the bridge of my nose up and I'm going to open up into cow pose here. And then I'm going to pull my tailbone in, curl tuck round into cat. I inhale, lifting up. And now exhale, flatten out your feet to the tops of your feet when you come into cats. Come back to the balls of your feet, press down, lift up, lengthen out, flat feet, top of the feet, grounded. And just keep going. Two more. Like this, and then we're going to play with cat cow bit. Tuck toes when I inhale. Flatten out, exhale. Tuck toes, inhale. Exhale, flatten out those feet. Take your hips back and your head drops. Rise up, balls of feet. Look up with the bridge of your nose. And then flatten out the top of the feet. Keep going, rocking cat cow here. Taking and working those feet a bit. Working our spine. Find breath with movement. So much can happen here. Relaxing into our neck. Working the hips too, right? We're working the hips now, forward and back. Let's do 2 more sets. And when you're finished, come into being back on your heels. Lengthen your arms out, okay, so they move forward. Open up your knees a bit. Come into a wide-legged child's pose. And I'm going to just take one hand, stretch it forward, feel the side body stretch. And then I'm going to bring that one back and stretch the other shoulder and arm forward. It's just going to come back and forth. So your head may not be down on the ground, or else you're kind of pressing into it as you do this. But this is just kind of like reaching one side and then the other. Opening up that side body, getting those stretches in for Rose, for all of us. And then come into hands, fingertips on the ground, pushing down. You can go ahead and rest your forehead on the ground, but keep pushing down into your fingers and activating your arms. The muscles in your arms push through all 10 fingers. Can you feel that in your bicep, in your tricep, in your pecs? Keep pressing down. Keep breathing. And then relax and palms down. Woo. And then from here, slide your right hand towards your right knee. Flip it up. Send it under left armpit. Let's come into opening up those shoulders. And coming into threading the needle. So you've got your weight on your right shoulder and the side of your head there, the temple. But there's not a lot of weight in the neck. It's just, you know, barely grazing the mat or the blanket or whatever you're on. Your other arm, the left arm, can be walking itself forward. You can come back to the tips of your fingers. You can take the right hand downward. Come onto the tips of those fingers. Make this active or release that and let it be just the stretch, okay? Relax your hands if you did tent them. Bring your right arm back, right elbow towards right knee. Stretch out forward and your forehead comes to the ground. Take a breath. Inhale, left hand to left knee. Flip it up. Send it under right armpit. Come onto that left shoulder and that slight touch of your left side of your head on the mat or blanket. Reach your right hand forward. Come onto those fingertips. If you want, press in. Feel that in at that armpit area, activating. If you want, you can take the lower arm, that left arm, and take those fingertips down too. So flipping that palm down. Only if you want to add this, it's just another little way to move on the spectrum. And releasing the hands. And let your left arm come back, left elbow towards left knee. Stretch out. Take your forehead to the ground. And from here, we're going to go back and forth between this pose, right? This wide-legged child's pose. And I'm going to bring myself up. And I'm going to take my toes up. They meet, my hips come down, another hip opener here, another stretch to the whole front of the body. And this is called hanging cobra, okay? And then I take my tailbone back and take my arms forward, my forehead down, back into my peace of warrior or wide-legged child's pose. Bring myself up and flow here. Okay, so taking myself back for me makes my exhale happen. When I bring myself forward and lengthen into that hanging cobra, that is my inhale, right? You guys do what feels right for you. And taking it to your place of comfort or your safely uncomfortable place. Right? No pain. We don't have ever that expression, no pain, no gain in yoga, okay? We don't want to be there. We don't want to be on the verge of that. Let's do two more. Coming back into that wide-legged child's pose, and then back up into our hands and knees, all fours here. And I'm just going to release one of my cushions. All right, so let's move out of a little bit of lunging here. So from here, all fours, I'm going to go ahead and take my right foot between my hands, okay? So now, before we go any farther than this, just take a look. Is your foot running parallel to the edges of your mat? Is your knee and ankle in alignment there, right? So we're not over it, We're not behind it, not yet, all right? We may take it there, but to start, this is our neutral. And that knee is over the ankle. And if it goes anywhere, it's towards the pinky and not coming inward, all right? So from here, we're going to lift up onto that thigh. And here, I want us to make sure that we've got our hips in a good alignment. So we've got a tailbone back here. Find it. You guys can find that tailbone. Sure. And when we have a pubic bone right here. And so you want to have that tailbone finding the direction down. You want to have that pubic bone finding its way up. So this is not that. This is that. So I kind of tuck, and I'm not tucking the tailbone under. I'm just taking it down, and I'm letting the pubic bone come up. Okay, so just another alignment thing to look at. You can come on up. Your back toes can be like I have mine, and that would be a good opening for your foot, or you can come to the flat part, and you might feel more balanced if you do that. My arms are up. I'm lengthening my sides of my body. And I'm going to bend my right legs forward. That's my right arm, right forearm. And I'm going to take a side bend here. So my left side is opening, my left shoulder pulls back. And then I lengthen up, both arms come up. And I take hands onto the mudra here at my heart center, and right thigh, right elbow, okay? Or I come into the inner part of that thigh, maybe to my knee, somewhere there that you're gonna find. And we're gonna take that into a twist. Okay. Then we're gonna do a reverse twist out of this. Keep your spine long. Come on back up. And then I'm gonna take my elbow. First I'm gonna twist, twisting over to the right. And maybe my elbow will not come to my thigh, and that's okay. I'm just gonna take the twist. Or maybe you reach to see if that elbow reaches knee or thigh, then you can come into the twist a little more with more depth. But if just the twist feels good, stay there, okay? Take a couple breaths here. Take your spine long. That means tailbone back and crown of the head forward, and bringing yourself back up, okay? And then from here, releasing your hands. They rise up. Inhale. Exhale. Take your hands down to either side of your foot. This is where I'm going to use blocks. You don't need to, okay? But this just gives me a little more height here. And from here, now we are going to take and try to straighten out that front leg. And then we're going to bring ourselves forward. And if those blocks coming back a little bit farther help, or you can have your hands on the ground, all we're doing is working into this hip flexor. So back to hips, Matt. Your hip flexor has a lot to do with that whole movement of your hips, some of the internal muscles too, like the psoas and the piriformis. All of those have to do with what's going on with the opening of our hips. And then I'm going to come here. I'm going to come onto the high part of my block. If you're using blocks, I'm going to extend that front leg long. Maybe you got to bend because it's just, a little bit too much for you. So please take that bend. All right, find where you are. Find your hips in alignment. So that might mean I need to pull my right hip back a little bit. I've got my foot flexed. Got my back as straight as I can here, even if it's at an angle, whatever angle that might be. I'm going to take that front foot if I want more, otherwise this may be just enough. And I'm going to cross my body like we did earlier when we crossed our midline of our body. So I'm crossing here, and I'm going to work now on that piriformis that we just talked about, and the psoas. And I'm going to let my right foot come over, right pinky toe towards the ground. And do you feel that? Yeah, I feel it. I'm going to pull my right hip back a little bit, straightening out so that my hips are pointing forward evenly, chest points forward. I let myself really open up there. This has just been a pose that I've just recently learned. It's like, wow, this really helps to open up those hips. And then take your foot toes up again, slide the foot back towards the right side, bend into that right knee. Take your hands to your thigh. Make sure you've got good alignment here. Raise your arms up, inhale. And then exhale, let's take one more side bend here. Find that length. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Bring yourself up, inhale. And exhale, take yourself down. Before we go to the other side, just come into the middle. And do you feel the difference already in one hip and the other? Let's go ahead and take our hips left and right. It's another thing it does. Really good for anybody that likes to dance and move and groove. Take it to the left. Take your gaze over and curl into a little C shape here. See how much you can curl into that. Looking past your shoulder, trying to see that hip. Come back to center. Take the right hip out and let's look over. Trying to find that hip. Trying to see what kind of C shape we can make here. And then bringing myself back. 2 sets of rocking cat-cow. Coming back up. This time taking the left foot forward and finding that parallel position of your foot between the sides of your mat. Finding knee and ankle and knee and hip over on that back leg. And then bringing yourself up, walking yourself up. And again, just checking in with that tailbone, that pubic bone alignment. Okay, we've got the sits bones, we've got these bones, we've got the pelvic, that makes up a lot of that pelvic girdle that we're working with here. And breathing. And again, that back foot, make a decision. Do you want to work on balance and opening that back foot a little more? Then you're going to come into the ball of foot, or else you'll keep it flat. Come on up, inhale. Really lengthen the side body. Open up fingers wide. And now pull the shoulder blades down. And then bend into your left arm. Take that forearm to your left thigh and bring your body over to the side. Should feel that in that hip flexor. Your gaze can be up. It can be neutral. You can look down. You can look all around. Find what's right for you. Raising our body up. Take your arm back up. Inhale. And from here, exhale, take your body forward, hands come to the ground. Again, if you want to use those blocks, you can. And I'm going to go ahead and begin that moving forward and back of my hips. Bending into that front knee, lengthening it out afterwards. Lengthen out that leg to what feels right for me. Maybe coming when I lengthen it out to the heel. And I'm going to feel that back of my Achilles tendon there a little bit more. This is real individual, right? It's really to where you are in your body, in your practice, in your flexibility. And then coming back, extend that front leg long, come onto the heel. And again, you may be really bent here, and that's okay. You may feel like this is just enough opening there for you. So if so, Take that left hip back. Put those hips in alignment there. I know why the thicker, bigger blocks are better than these now. They're more stable. And if you want more, we cross that foot over across our center line. Bring that hip back again. And if you want more, you take that left side of your foot, pinky side down into the mat. Foot flexed, hip pulled back. Breath in and out. Smile upon your face. Safely and comfortable here. Because this is good for us, believe it or not. And then go ahead and let your foot come up, toes up. Bring that foot back. Take and bend it. Find yourself coming back up, checking into alignment. Arms come up, stretching out that side body. Bend into your elbow and take a stretch again over to the side. Bring yourself up, both arms. Exhale, hands come down. Foot comes back. Coming into all fours. Let's do some figure eights. Okay, so find that in your hips, being that flexible. You can make this sign of infinity over and over again. Yes, we will stop and let's go ahead and take it in the opposite direction. That might be a little challenging, but I found even with this too, practice makes progress. That's a much better saying than what we usually hear at the end of practice makes something else. Because I'm not sure that something else really exists. All right, coming back into center. Let's go ahead and take the, so it'd be my right foot back, and I'm gonna come over onto the left foot, all right? So I'm coming into this kind of a half of a squatting position here, right? Knee down, toes behind there. And I'm just going to go ahead and take myself now some more hip opening here in a different way, coming out back and forth. If you want to use blocks, take your hands to the blocks. You may feel that in a different way, okay? So you can do any of those, anything you want. And we're getting into that inner groin area. And then coming up, raise up here. Take your arms up, inhale. Exhale, hand down, maybe to a block, because that's some kind of far down there. And arms straight up. Take yourself over. Take yourself up. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. 2 more. From here, circles. Let's get into those shoulders another time or two. We still have time for that. Working with hips, working with shoulders, working with stretching. We're getting all those requests in here. Let's go ahead and take it in the opposite way. A lot of freedom here. And take it up and over. Rise on up. Both arms lift. Hands come down to Anjali Mudra. And then go ahead and take your hands down and take your feet back, knees back, coming on to all fours here. And now we're going to reverse that. So I'm going to take, because I don't want to be behind you, I'm going to take that one foot back and the other one out. So find how you want to face me. So that we're setting up again these 90-degree angles with one thigh, one shin, and the other thigh, and the other shin. Okay. All right. And so here we are in this position. And again, you can take it here, and it might just be really little. Okay. You can take it at a slower rate. Don't want to ever do anything too fast, right? That's when we can push ourselves into some place called pain. Before we know it, we've gotten there. Or you may have your hands on blocks. You're keeping a straight spine no matter what. Okay, it's either straight and perpendicular to the ground, or it's straight, kind of an angle here. I'm not totally parallel to the ground here. Good. And then I'm going to come back up, release here, take my hands up. And this is where I wish one of you would unmute yourself and tell me what we did next, because I'm thinking, what did we do next? I can't remember, but I liked it. Anybody want to unmute and tell me what we did next, if you remember?
Did we do the arms?
Yeah, we put our arm down like this and did a stretch like that.
Right.
Like that? Is that what we did? This?
I think
No, we did this.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Ah, you guys are great. You know, if I were still teaching like in the classroom, I might, sometimes I would do that just to see if they were listening. Okay, what are we doing? But that's not the case here. It's like my mind went blank. All right, so you've got your hand on the block or not, and you're coming over, is that right? And then we're just coming up, inhale, exhale over, inhale, and exhale. So it's kind of like a gate pose that we're doing here. Thank you, Rose, and thank you, Chris. Inhale, and exhale. Inhale, and exhale. 2 more. And take those nice helicopter arms there, or one arm at a time. And again, find that rotation that works for what's going on with your shoulders right now, okay? But we're still getting that nice side stretch, still getting that hip opening, still breathing, right? And let's reverse that. Thank you, all you good memories out there, those great minds. 2 more. And take it on over. And bring yourself up. Take your hands into Anjali Mudra. Good. Take your hands down. And let's go ahead and walk back into all fours. And tuck your toes. Let's come into screaming toe here. Tuck those toes, bring your feet together, ankles together, and let's sit back. If that is not doable for you, then take yourself more upright and take yourself on your hands. Okay, so you could be doing something like this, maybe, hands on the ground or blocks, but we're opening up those feet, all right? A little bit more than we would if we were in our down dog. The down dog definitely opens up feet, and we're going there next. And I know we're just put a few of those down dogs in today. You got a lot of work still, I hope you guys feel. Maybe squeezing into your legs, feeling that in your feet, taking your arms up, taking them back. Inhale and exhale. 2 more. Squeeze those thighs together. Squeeze those feet together. Inhale, cactus. Inhale. 3 more times, cactus. Inhale. And cactus. Are your feet talking to you? Inhale. And exhale down, tap those feet out. And walk your hands forward, tuck into those toes, lift up, down dog, exhale, feel that lengthening in your spine first and foremost. Then you can take it to your legs, but that is secondary. Here we want to lengthen spine. Trying to maintain the spine all the way in alignment. Includes your neck, but if you want, you can go ahead and just release your head. All right, this is not the normal down dog, but this sure feels good for a little while to just let your heavy head, that 10-pound bowling ball, just release down. And then lift it up. Take your biceps by your ears by your biceps. Paddle out your feet. And taking your right foot, keeping it on the ground, let the left foot rise up here. Three-legged dog. Stay right here. If you want a little bit of upper body strengthening, you can come forward into three-limbed plank, also abdominal toning. Come back. If you're doing this, do it 3 more times. Otherwise, just stay in that beautiful three-legged dog. If you're doing this, you're breathing with it. Good. Lifting, lengthening, and then bending and finding that foot next to the other one. Let's walk it out. Walk it out so much that you get your hips moving. Walk it out so much that you get your torso and your shoulders moving, maybe your head moving a bit. And then coming into more of a stillness. Left foot's going to take the ground. The right foot's going to rise up. Flexed here. Feels good. Breathing here. Keeping it here. Or if you like, this will be an inhale. And you can exhale, bring yourself forward into three-limb plank. Or stay right there in that beautiful three-limbed dog. And meeting back into that three-legged dog. And bend into the knee and place that foot down. Walk it up. And high into the balls of your feet. Open up your knees, toes together. Come into peaceful warrior. Maybe you want to stack your hands and place your forehead on your stacked hands. If you have a block, that feels really good as well. Or your forehead directly on the mat. But have this be comfortable. We want comfort here. We want cozy here. And if it's not in your practice to get your hips back towards your heels and your tailbones lifted, you can stack some blocks underneath you and see if that helps. Or just keep that tailbone lifted and be in the position that feels like that is good for you today, in this moment. Take a few breaths here. And then bringing yourself up. Let's come on back around into seated position. And find the seated position that works for you. So Sukhasana, Tadasana, maybe you want to come into Gomukhasana with the soles of the feet together. Maybe you want to be in just legs hanging out forward in a semi-staff position, but we don't have to staff it up too much right now because we're coming into a closure of our class. So do find a straight spine wherever you are. Do find your eyes resting in their sockets. Your ears in tune with your breath. your body releasing any last piece of tension, tightness, or noting where some might be that you'll pay attention to later. I mean attention to not by complaining about it, but by doing something about it. Taking your body and doing your own practice. Maybe it's just going to be working with shoulders. Maybe it's just going to be working with hips. Maybe just going to be some simple stretching, but you'll find your way to make it yours, to attend to that body in a functional way, not a dysfunctional way. Hands at heart center or covering your heart space. I honor the place in you where the divine universe dwells. I honor the place in you where there is love and light and peace and joy. For when you are in that place in you, and I am in that place in me, we are one, we are connected, we are brothers and sisters in this planet Earth. From my heart to yours, thank you for your ever presence.